Um, this should be simple and I believe straightforward also. And I believe that this should be something that we can all relate with. And it has to do with prayers and it has to do with talking to God. And definitely, we know that the simplest definition of prayer is talking to God. And most of the time, we tend to always talk to God whenever we are facing certain challenge or certain situation or certain problems. And we need His input, we need His direction, we need His guidance, and we come to Him and ask Him, can you just, from a place of divine inspiration, divine wisdom, divine understanding, can you let me know what is going on or give me an answer to this? But sometimes we also tend to want to mock God, and I would explain that in a bit. But we also tend to want to mock God, um, by asking Him what we do not want, or by pretending, to desire what we do not care for. And that is actually a very bad attitude or a very bad way to approach prayer, in the sense whereby we are mocking God by asking Him for the things that we do not want. And, it's kind of a way of saying, God, say for example, you need an help in a particular situation. And then you come to God and you are like, you know what? I know I've sinned or I know I've been far away from you, but I would now want to draw closer to you. I want you to give me your life. I want you to, I want to give my life also to you. I want you to fill me up. I want to walk in your ways and everything. But when you sit back and begin to look into the original motive of the prayer was just to obtain an answer, basically, from an answer for the original problems or personal challenges you are facing at the present moment. So it was never to get a relationship with God. It was never to be intimate with Him. But you've kind of figured out in a way that, if I say all these nice word salads and, if I put this and this and this together, I get a very big burger that, oh, God will be interested in wanting to try this burger and eat this burger. And that is a slap in the face of God, actually. That is a mock. That is mocking God, because you are asking Him that, I don't want this thing, but I will pretend to care about wanting it. I'll pretend to ask for the things that I don't care about. And that is not the right way to approach God in terms of prayer. You know, when it comes to prayer, the most important thing that God looks at is the inward state. It's not even the words that are coming out from the mouth, but the inward state of the heart. Is there sincerity? Is there honesty in terms of your prayer? Is there faith that what I'm asking from God, I believe that He can do it and He's going to do it? You know, and we ought to pray with honest fervor. We ought to pray with simple faith. We ought to pray as a men that really want what they ask for. And we also have to expect that we will get everything we're asking for also. And that is the right manner to approach God. And if you feel like there is a need for you to go against, to try and gaslight God, to try and manipulate God before He answers your prayer, then there is obviously a bigger problem than the problem you are bringing forth to Him in prayer. And that is the problem that you ought to solve first before you even bring up any other prayer. So because you know that, oh, it's been a long time I've been away from God, and now I want to try and draw closer to Him. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for forgiveness of sin first. Then the number one thing you ought to actually pray for is for the grace to overcome sin. That is the first thing you ought to actually tackle. So that the next time you are coming, and even the next time when you are coming, is not something that is now how will I put it? Something that is not okay, something that is occasional, something that is not frequent. So that the next time you will come will be on a daily basis, whereby you are able to communicate every agenda of your life to Him and you get an answer about it. And you know what? In terms of prayer, it is not just important that we tell God what we want, but what is more important is that we wait to hear what He has to say to us. Because without getting an answer from the prayer, it is as useless. Because what you just did was just to pour out your heart and say, this is what I want. But then prayer is a two-way communication. You talk and you receive. You talk and you hear back. And until you hear back, until you get the assurance that the prayers has been answered, you don't leave. You wait. You keep on waiting. You keep on waiting. You keep on knocking until He speaks something to you. And God cannot be rushed. He's the author of time. He has everything. He knows the best time to speak, and He knows the best time to hold back. Yours is just to keep on waiting until He does something. And best believe that whenever He does it, is the right time He wants to do it. And it's the best time for you also, for reasons best known also to Him. And so when you encounter issues like this, whereby you have some things to pray to God about, but then before you are able to pray to Him, you know that there are some things that you have to reconcile with God about. Then why not just take those things and examine those things and see exactly how can you tackle these things once and for all. That is the goal here. That you know what? You tackle these things once and for all so that you don't keep on mocking God. So that you don't keep on rubbing it on God's face and say, God, you see, this is what I want, but I'm going to go through the corners and make you feel like I want this because I need this. At the end of the day, you are not playing God. We are all playing ourselves, if this is the way we act to God in terms of prayer. And so what I want us to understand is that we should not pretend to desire what we do not care for. So if we want the grace of God, if we want the peace of God, if we want the joy of God, if we want the love of God, if we want the fruit of the Spirit, if we want the gift of the Spirit, you should actually desire for those things and expect that you will get them and wait till you get to them. Don't just ask and run away and go back to the things that you know that when next you are going to come to Him, you are still going to make the same prayer again. And so this is just a word I have to put out there for somebody. And I believe that this changes your perspective on prayer, that you have to approach God honestly. You have to approach God from a place, from sincerity, from a sincere heart, and you have to desire, the things you desire, you have to truly care for them. And you see, when you do all these things and you also believe, you have this faith in terms of prayers, when you do all these things, it's definitely sure that your prayers will definitely be answered, and you even get fast answers to your prayers. Because now those things that stand as a barrier, those things that always takes you away from God, that you always have to come back to reconcile, you dealt with those things once and for all by asking Him to deal with them for you. And because He does that for you, it's very easy to approach Him on a daily basis and to get answers to those requests and those prayers. So I believe somebody has been blessed today. And thank you very much. And until next time.